Hey folks, welcome to today's webinar. This is Brandon Adams. I'm the president here at Search to Social. And today's webinar is going to be on having a comprehensive approach to internet marketing. I get asked all the time by doctors, what our secret is here at Search to Social. They think it might be the social media work that we do, or they might be the websites that we put out there, or it could be, the local work that we do, or the reputation management. And I just kind of nod my head. They go, is this the trick? Is that the trick? I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. The real trick, though, is the fact that we employ extremely comprehensive marketing campaigns for all of our clients that combine 12 of the most important aspects of internet marketing into one cohesive campaign. I'm such a big believer in this because this allows you to blow up one piece of the pie, and that momentum and that increase actually brings up momentum and increase in those other pieces that are adjacently attached to it. So if I get 500 people on Facebook for a client in a couple of months, that's going to in turn account for another 150 or so on the newsletter, and another 400 people on the website, and another 100 people looking at the blog, and maybe 50 people looking at the YouTube channel. And again, it's all because we tie these pieces together so tightly and so well. One of the first and most foundational pieces of the pie is your website. If somebody finds you on YouTube or if they find you on Facebook, no matter where they find you, if they find you through your pay-per-click campaign, they're going to end up on your website. And you have to make absolutely sure that your website appeals to these people immediately. One of the most crucial statistics to internet marketing is the fact that 40% of the bounces, and that means people that don't click on any other links or pictures or images once they get to your website, 40% of those bounces occur in the first 4 seconds. And that's a huge statistic because what that tells you is, if your site's not immediately visually stimulating and visually engaging, that these people are going to leave immediately. There's no way around it. So the first thing you want to do is make your site instantly engaging and also navigable. Once you kept them for the first 5 seconds, they're not going to be one of those immediate bounces. You have to make sure that they can find what they're looking for as well. Unique content, and this is just from a search engine perspective, unique content is an absolute mandatory item that you have to have these days. And this is something you'll hear, like as we do this webinar series, you're going to hear me talking about unique content when it comes to social media posting, when it comes to website creation, when it comes to blog posting, when it comes to all sorts of different things. So you have to make sure that you're not cutting and pasting something that's out there on the internet, because if you do, Google will know about it immediately, and you are going to, one of two things. Worst case scenario, you get penalized for it. And best case scenario, you just don't get credit for the work that you just did. You don't get any kind of SEO credit or SEO benefit for all these blog posts that you're putting out there. So make sure that it's unique. And from a clinical perspective, what you want on your website, as soon as somebody lands on that website, you want to make sure that your priority service centers are highlighted immediately. If you want to make most of your money as a doctor doing weight loss and knee injections, you have to make sure that your website doesn't show acupuncture and massage whenever your website loads up. You want to make absolutely sure that where you want to make your money in your clinic is at the forefront of the website, above the fold, as soon as it loads up. Another piece of criteria that you want to think about, and this increases conversion rate. I mean, we don't really care. Obviously, we care about how much traffic we send to our clients' web pages. But at the end of the day, that's never a marker for success for us. It's an indicator that we're doing things right or we may need to work on something, but it's never a marker for success. The marker for success is always the phone ringing and you getting people in the clinic. And one of the ways to do that is to put things on the website that actually convert that traffic into that person in your clinic. One of the best ways is with insurance logos across the top. That's one of the things that we put at the very top of all of our websites, or all the various insurance logos that you guys accept. That's going to get that person to call just about faster than anything else will. And we also say put some sort of a free consultation. You have to watch the advertising lingo with this, because state regulations get really tight on you know exactly how you can offer any kind of free service. You might need a Medicare clause on there. You might need a clause that says it's a $250 value. You know, make sure you're legal for your state, but some sort of a free consultation or some other sort of an incentive really increases the likelihood that that potential prospect picks up the phone and calls you. And something else that we're a huge believer in here at Search to Social is having an online appointment scheduling functionality very, very visible right there on the front page as soon as somebody loads up. Doctors kind of lose the perspective that an enormous amount of your traffic is going to hit your website after hours and on the weekend. You know, people work during the week. Like most of us all have 8 to 5, and that guy that has a sore neck that needs a doctor but just doesn't quite have the the time to get in there, he's going to schedule at night or he's going to schedule over the weekend. And if you don't have that functionality, you're going to miss him because obviously he can't pick up the phone and call you guys. So those are just a few of the considerations to take into account for the website design. Once you have your website buttoned up and you like the way it looks, you like the way it flows, you think it's very engaging right off the bat, now we need to make it show up in the search engine. And that's where a good SEO campaign comes into account. If you don't know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and that is basically the way that somebody goes about making their site show up in Google, not in the sponsored, not in the shaded box thing, but organically in Google and in the other search engines for a particular keyword search. This search engine optimization has grown by leaps and bounds in complexity over the last couple of years to the point now where you absolutely cannot do it on your own. The rules are changing every month or two. Things that used to work now not only don't work, they get you in trouble. So you have to make sure that you're not reading an article from 18 months ago implementing some kind of a linking structure in your website, because nowadays that might be a black hat tactic, and if you're not a professional doing it every day, you're not going to be on top of all these changes. So I work with a lot of intelligent doctors. They actually have the capacity to learn this stuff, no problem, but they just don't do it every day. It's not part of what they do. They're busy treating patients and running a clinic every day. So understanding that you can't do it anymore is crucial. You want to hire a professional, and always definitely hire somebody simply based on their portfolio and their resume. Don't hire your cousin. Like, don't hire the guy that built your website normally, because they're not professional SEO guys that are just in the trenches every day. They're not going to be able to compete. Like, SEO is so competitive. It's a total battlefield out there, and you don't want to walk into that battlefield unarmed, I promise you. And worst case scenario is you hire somebody that kind of dabbles in it, and best intention in SEO, if they do something wrong, can lead you to getting absolutely blacklisted on Google or put back onto the 10th page. So make sure that you know who you're using as far as an SEO, and make sure that they're going to be a dedicated resource to you moving forward. Don't ever, ever, ever pay for links. Google knows who is out there selling links. I mean, Google's really sophisticated, and this is one of their top priorities now, is understanding who is selling links, because they're going to punish the people that buy them. It's not illegal to sell links. You know what I mean? There's nothing illegal about it, but Google is basically saying, hey, if you sell links, we can't do anything to you, but we can punish the people that are buying links, and that's going to put the guys that are selling links out of business. So make sure that you absolutely don't ever go out and hire a service that's just going to give you 1,000 links here and 1,000 links there, and these are the keywords they're going to use, and this and that, because that's going to get you in trouble. Okay? That lends itself, I'm going to skip a couple of bullet points here, but that lends itself to saying, well, how do I get the links? And the best way to do it is with a natural, organic effort of going out and establishing relationships with other people that have websites in your area, your colleagues and your peers in the physical medicine vertical across the country. It's a great way to do it. Get online in bulletin boards and forums and meet these bloggers that actually have a bunch of different websites that they can link to your website from. You want to have a lot of content on your site. We've already talked about content. Like, content is very, very key and very, very crucial. But as far as SEO is concerned, the linking is 80% off-site. That means the whole If you can have as much content on your site as you want. If you don't have any inbound links from other credible websites and credible blogs, then it doesn't really matter because Google's just going to say, well, yeah, you've got good content, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody's pointing to it. Nobody is saying, hey, this website is a real resource. And Google's job is to put resources in front of people that are searching for something, you know. So again, with your SEO, you want very unique anchor text and titles and descriptions. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But if you do know a little bit about SEO, do not replicate anchor text anymore. That's actually a penalty now. Do not replicate descriptions across your linking campaigns anymore. Make sure all of the links contain unique titles and unique descriptions, or you're just not going to get credit for it. And if you exceed a certain threshold of duplicate anchor text, you're actually going to start getting penalized for it. And again, obviously, these have to be keyword targeted. That's the very foundation of an SEO campaign. So, you know, just to reiterate, if you do not know exactly what you're doing, and honestly, like I've made friends with 100 awesome doctors that are very, very good at marketing. None of them can do this anymore just because it's so sophisticated. It's such a crazy battlefield out there that you don't want to make any mistakes, number one. And as a doctor, if you're running a clinic full time, you just don't have time to put into doing a real, natural, organic SEO campaign. We're going to skip over analytics. We actually have a webinar coming up on analytics in a couple of weeks, but we're going to talk about the local search. Local search is like reputation management these days. It's one of the key fundamental pieces of internet marketing. In 2013, the local search results, that means the Google Maps and the actual map or the actual result on iPhones and Droid devices, are going to drive more revenue than the actual organic results in Google. So that's I don't know if you got the impact of that statement, but if you're number one in Google for a particular search and you're number one in the maps for that same search, that map result is going to actually make you more money this year than the organic web result. So it's a good time to be in the map, and if you're not, there's definitely a way to get into them. Obviously, all phone searches, for the most part, just bring back local search because they're all GPS based, and you know the phone feels like its job is to give somebody a resource that's local to it because it does have that GPS positioning. If you listen to our reputation management webinar from a couple of weeks ago, you understand how important that is, and it's especially tied to this as well. All of these local search things, like if you look at Google local maps, they have reviews in there. Yelp comes up for a bunch of local searches. Yelp is nothing but a rate and review site. So reputation and the local searches, those two circles overlap tremendously. So even if you have an enormous amount of exposure out there in the local maps, if you have a poor reputation online, if you're not managing that reputation and actively farming for good reviews, you're not going to get any calls because you're going to get a bunch of people looking at you going, man, this guy's got 4 one-star reviews in the last 6 months. I'm not calling him. So exposure does not always equal the phone, ringing. Exposure plus good reputation makes the phone ring. So don't forget about the reputation aspect when you're working on your local listings. And check your status. If you go to searchtosocial.com and go to our audit page, we give out free audits for anybody that wants to take a look at their entire internet marketing campaign. There's a button at the top of that page that will allow you to check your local listing status. And what it does is you'll see this consistency in NAP button. NAP is nothing but name, address, and phone number. And that basically is what Google is looking for whenever it's going to return your business as a result in the map. It wants to see that name, address, and phone number consistently in as many different places as possible. The more times it sees it out there, and also the more times it sees it in credible places like the Better Business Bureau, YP.com, all the city search, all the yellow page listing, all of those different things, that shows Google that, hey, this is a real company and they're actually doing good advertising. And by consistently seeing the same name, the same address, and the same phone number, now Google starts to go, hey, I really trust this guy. You build authority and trust with Google. One thing you don't ever want to do in the local, you can do this in radio and print, you can do this for a lot of different things, But when it comes to online marketing, especially online business directories and business listings in your area, don't ever use a marketing phone number. Ever, ever, ever. Because what that does, if you have a different number in the yellow pages, YP.com, that you have at the Better Business Bureau, that you have in city search, just because you want to track these things, what happens is Google looks at these and they go, man, he's got a different phone number here and there and here. Like, I don't know who this guy is. So your credibility with Google kind of shakes a little bit, and they stop putting you up near the top just because they're like, we really don't know who this guy is. He's got several different faces. We don't know exactly what he is. So make sure that if you're going to use marketing phone numbers, use them for billboards and print ads and radio and TV. Don't ever use them for the internet, because it will actually hurt your internet presence in a very large way. This is such a key piece of the puzzle that I really recommend devoting a resource to it. If you go to our website and you run that check, and then all of a sudden you realize that, hey, I need to get out there and in 50 or 60 different places, I need to fix this, devote a resource in your clinic to it, because I promise you'll be glad you did whenever the phone starts ringing and people say, yeah, I see you in the maps here, you're about a mile away from me. If you need any direction on this, if you're not 100% sure about how to go about it, give us a call. We'd love to just, kind of give you some pointers on it. There's definitely a right way and a wrong way to go about this. We're always available just for a phone call. So give us a call if you run this search tool and it's kind of a black eye, like you don't like the result, and we'll kind of steer you in the right direction and getting you fixed up. Content management, again, it's one of those things that crosses all of these circles. You need good content for your blog and your website. You need good content for social media postings. You really need good content to go out in your newsletters and in your video. So I actually put this as one of the most important aspects of your campaign, because if your content stinks, people aren't going to be engaged. They're not going to be reading it. They're not going to be interested, and they're not going to call you. So again, you want to make sure it's unique. I'm going to kick this horse until it just rots away. Like, I know it's a dead horse, and you guys are tired of hearing about it, but it's really, really important. Any kind of articles that you guys write, especially for your website or your blog, make sure that they're keyword targeted. Like, pick a target for each article. So this is going to be HCG weight loss, and have HCG weight loss appear as 4 to 7% of the overall content in that article. If you're not exactly sure about how to do this, give us a call. We definitely have some really solid strategies on writing content for all of the different service centers that you guys employ. Again, we're more than happy to help you guys out on that. And you want to develop an ongoing plan too. You want to know what you're going to be writing about next month and next week and 2 or 3 months down the road, because you can complement all of your other marketing services with this. If you know you're going to have a TV ad coming out on knee injections in 6 weeks, well, let's be writing content right before that, so we're putting out blog articles and social media postings on knee injections at the same time. And if you don't have a resource in your clinic to do the actual writing, you can get on Craigslist and get a blogger. There's a ton of them. You won't have any problem finding it. Or you can use a service like iWriter.com, and that's just a corral of thousands of writers that will write your articles for you. You just give them a little bit of direction, and it's pretty cheap too, actually. And I know I just said that you want to kind of have a concrete idea of what you're going to be writing about, but you also want to complement that with an ear to the ground on what's going on in the industry. So there's ways to watch trending articles and trending keywords and trending hashtags out there. I would definitely educate yourself on those. So if Dr. Oz tomorrow, for instance, gets on TV and talks about a new knee injection procedure that you guys actually do, well, I guarantee you 2 million people are going to search about that, over the next couple of days. So if you see something trending in a big way, hire a writer or get someone of your staff to write a couple of articles. Get them out on your blog immediately, and try to get a couple of bloggers to link to them, because it's amazing how fast, if it's a new search that isn't already established, it's amazing how easy it is to get to the top of these new searches if you have the right content in place at the right time. And just commit to this content management plan long term. Just understand that over the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to have to find a way to write hundreds of articles for your blog. Okay, there's just no way around that. If you want to compete these days online, you can't escape that. So go ahead and find a resource. Make sure that they understand how to go out and write articles that match, your clinic service centers, and it matches your goals and your targets for the clinic. And just go ahead and set it and forget it. Make sure they're using the SEO principles that we talked about earlier onto these various blog articles, and make sure they're building inbound links to the blog articles. And before you know it, you guys are going to be showing up for a bunch of different keyword targets instead of just, pain management doctor in Ocala or, chiropractor in New Orleans. So just keep that in mind. The next I'm kind of blowing through these things really quick. I don't want to keep you guys all afternoon, but I just want to hit the high spots on these. Video marketing is huge these days. Video is definitely the most engaging of all the media out there. We all know that. But one thing that a lot of doctors aren't in tune with is the fact that a video that's not professionally produced actually is worse than not having a video at all. If you bring up a video, and I see this every single day, and it drives me crazy, doctors will have in their offices or on their website a video that was shot on an iPhone, without a microphone and without the right lighting, and just somebody was holding it in their hand. And I mean, people are laughing right now, but I see that every single day, and that is such an unprofessional first experience for that prospect, that potential patient. You want to blow these guys away when they load up your website with professional videos, with good quality sound, great lighting, and also like professional speakers if someone in your office isn't good in front of the camera. So, get a real, like a third party to say, hey, do I look good on camera or not, or does my office manager look good on camera? And if the answer is no, hire an actor. I mean, you can hire somebody for $100 an hour and be done with them in an hour or two to get these videos cut. And it's such a much better first impression when that video loads up and it's a bright video that sounds good and it's still, that somebody's coming across like an actual professional speaker. It makes all the difference in the world. And one thing that we do for all of our doctors is we actually shoot videos for every single service that the office provides. And that way I can take that video for carpal tunnel syndrome, for instance, and it goes on the carpal tunnel page. Once a week we put videos out on social media. So one week, we'll put a blog post about carpal tunnel. We'll have that video embedded on it, and then we put that out on their Facebook page, for instance. So you can see how that comprehensive approach really starts tying all these pieces together. But with the videos, you definitely want to be able to advertise each one of your service centers individually, and video is a really good way to do that. Make sure you put them on YouTube and Daily Motion, and keyword target them on that. Like there's a title and description and tags option on both of those. Make sure you use those. Don't overpopulate them. Don't overstuff them, but definitely make it obvious what that video is about. And geo-target them as well. That means you can actually put your address in on YouTube for all these videos, and that actually makes the videos show up on people's phones whenever they're searching in those areas. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. And I talked about embedding them on the pages. If you shoot, a video on, facet injections, make sure that video is on the facet injections page. And this is one of the, I don't want to say it's a secret, but this is one of the things that we do that really makes our videos outperform any competition that we've ever had. Is we can actually build inbound links to the videos on our doctor's page. And one thing I'll show you here, one thing that allows us to do is have video exposure that looks like this. For instance, if you search for trigger point therapy where any of our doctors are, these are our videos that we shot, and you'll see they're coming up first, way above any other thing that that comes up. I mean, this is our doc right here. That's his website, but these 4 videos are in his office. And same thing here. If you search in New Orleans for the same thing, our doctor's videos show up right at the top of the page. And the beauty of the video is it doesn't have to be in that very top spot because it's so much more engaging. So if you have a video in the top 5 or 6 spots, it's probably going to get the first click on the web page, and that's crucial to getting that person on your website first instead of on your competitor's website first. So again, do them right. Do them with teleprompters and actors and good lighting and good sound. And if you don't know how to do that, if you have any questions about that, we actually have staff that will fly out and shoot videos for doctors, or we're just more than happy to kind of steer you in the direction of being able to do that on your own. The next concept we're going to talk about is reputation management. I skipped over email. We're actually doing another webinar just on the importance of newsletters in a while, so I'm just going to skip it for now. Reputation management, as I said a couple weeks ago, is the absolute most important aspect of internet marketing, simply because it overlaps all of the other circles here. If you have a poor reputation, I don't care how you get people into your digital circle, they're going to be exposed to that poor reputation at some point, whether they're searching for driving directions to your clinic, whether they're on Google looking at your reviews, or Yelp, or whether, there's a million different ways. So if you're not managing your reputation online, you're getting hurt, I guarantee you. One thing you want to do, search for yourself, see what's out there, respond accordingly. There's a lot of HIPAA considerations and there's a lot of privacy concerns that need to go into your responses. Take a look at our webinar from a couple of weeks ago to get all the details on that. But you always want to thank somebody for a positive review and actually not defend yourself in a petty way, but actually, at least acknowledge any kind of a negative review on there. Say, hey, we're sorry, we totally dropped the ball on this, or just say, hey, I hate your experience was negative, but we did what we had to do and justify why. Set up Google Alerts for yourself, for your clinic, for your other doctors in the office, and that way Google's going to notify you immediately anytime anybody says anything about you. If somebody puts a review out on Yelp that has your name on it, you're going to get an email. Or if somebody blows you up on Facebook, in a good or a bad way, you're going to get an email about it. So make sure that you have the alerts set up. And the review farming is, you need a system in your office to go out and get these good reviews. There's several opportunities. If somebody just lost 40 pounds on your HCG plan and they have tears coming down their face, or if somebody is walking for the first time in a month, upright, like those are the opportunities to be confident and say, hey, we would love to get a review from you. Do you mind? And you have to train and incentivize your staff to know not only recognize the moments to ask for the review, to walk that patient through the review process, and to make absolutely sure that this gets done. So you got to train your staff, and again, incentivize them. Give them some kind of a bonus for every 5-star review that they can manage. And I tell you, at the end of the year, when you have 50 good reviews on Google and your next competitor has 4, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook. I promise you, this is the most important aspect of internet marketing there is. And again, call us if you have questions, but this needs to be one of the primary efforts that your office is making with their internet marketing training. Social media. There are companies out there dedicated to nothing but a chiropractic Facebook post. Social media has become a big player now in getting people into your clinic, because it does a couple of things. Number one, it's an awesome way to stay in front of your current patient base and even your old patient base if you can get them onto your Facebook page. But it's a great way to get new referrals as well, because people share stuff and they like it, and the nature of Facebook, you get to see what everybody else is doing. So if I'm liking and sharing something because I'm a patient of yours and my brother sees that I'm doing it all the time, your clinic's name is going to be at the forefront of his mind whenever he needs you, just because he's seen you on my Facebook page 20 times. So be very consistent. Do something daily. Do something, every other day that you can. One thing that I say is be engaging. Like, don't just post stuff. Like, don't just post health and wellness and nutrition. We do that for all of our clients because we can never speak on behalf of our clients. So, that's what I tell our clients. If we're going to post nutrition and health, wellness, and fitness information constantly, 3 to 5 times a week, it's your job as a clinic to be engaging, to be fun, and to be interesting. So put, pictures of the cutest kid in the clinic that day, or if somebody at the front desk, if one of the girls at the front desk gets flowers, or the doctor runs a 5K, or whatever it is. If it's interesting, put it out there on Facebook, because I guarantee you that'll get 10 times the engagement and the reaction that another paleo diet article is going to get you. So make sure to be engaging. And also, one thing that you want to do is get out there and comment on your patient's page. When it's their birthday, say happy birthday. And if you have local businesses around you, if there's a donut shop next door, say hey to those guys once a week. Or say, hey, we love you guys' donuts. We're going to come and get some on Friday. Something like that. But be as engaging as possible and make sure that you really have a local focused effort on the other businesses around you, because if there's 10 businesses in the shopping center that's right next to you, if you're engaging with their patient or their customer base, guess what? Now it's a hot demographic for you, because you know they're in the area and they're interested in services that are right down the road from you. So make it a concerted effort to be out there on Facebook, and don't be boring. Don't be stuffy. I've got clinics that will put an article a day out there on just the most boring, mundane stuff, and they don't get anything. And I've got other clinics that'll post things all week long and don't have the first thing to do with medicine at all. And they blow their Facebook out of the water. You know, they'll have 5,000 people laughing and commenting and joking. And once you get that, then all of a sudden, I mean, we've got some clients that have 5,000 Facebook fans. They get a referral every other day from Facebook. You know, if you can get to 5,000, like real fans, not bot fans, but if you can get to 5,000 real fans and you're engaging on Facebook, you can get, no joke, 15 new patients a month easy from that base, because it's such a huge exposure. So we do quite a bit of social media work on our behalf, but the most effective thing that we've done for our clients is create these calendars that actually make recommendations. And the recommendations, like I just mentioned, like grab a kid in your clinic and put their picture, sitting up on the front desk on Facebook. Just little stuff like that. If you can make it engaging and make it fun, you're going to be successful on Facebook. And I'm going to go ahead and skip over the offline stuff. Pay-per-click is going to be the last point that we talk about today. Pay-per-click is what most doctors do that don't have any other exposure. They know they can get out there really quick, get to the top, up there in the shaded box. But one thing that they don't realize is if you're using one of these monthly services like Reach Local, or even like the Yext pay-per-click service or anything like that, they're taking a solid chunk out of your advertising budget every month. And if you don't complain to them at all, and if you don't ever say, hey, I'm not getting the results I want, that piece of the pie that they're taking can be up to 40 to 50% of your advertising budget. Their job is to keep as much money that you give them every month without spending it on you. There's no spending requirement in any of those agreements if you're going to use a monthly pay-per-click service. So I always tell doctors, don't ever hire a monthly pay-per-click service, because they're taking a big piece of your pie. What you want to do is pay a pay-per-click expert to develop a campaign for you, and then you implement it monthly, and you just pay monthly to have it run, and that way you get 100% of every dollar that you spend on advertising on pay-per-click back into your clinic. So if you guys need a resource to build a good pay-per-click campaign for you, let us know. We've got a bunch of good people all over the country that would be more than happy to help you guys out. Another good thing about pay-per-click is you can measure this stuff so tightly. You can tell when like the weight loss program in your pay-per-click marketing is really performing really well, or it's performing really poorly, or something like that. The best thing about pay-per-click is you can really push the gas on certain verticals when you can see that they're performing well. So if it's springtime and the weight loss campaign in your pay-per-click budget is really doing really well, you might want to double it, and if it's in the wintertime, you pull it back. There's a lot of ways to configure these pay-per-click campaigns based on a whole bunch of different variables. And one of the other things that you want to do on the pay-per-click side, you want to create these goals on your site. And if you don't, now this isn't like when I say goal, I mean a very specific, like a Google Analytics goal. And that way when somebody gets to your website via pay-per-click, you want one of the goals to be, hey, they clicked on my newsletter, or hey, they clicked on our Contact Us page, or hey, they clicked on that Call Me Now button that shows the phone number. But those are engagement moves on your website that show you that, hey, this person actually reached out and they contacted us somehow. They went to our Facebook page from our website or something, and that way you know that even though you spent $50 to get 40 people on your website this month, like 25 of those people actually did something. They clicked on your newsletter, or they clicked on the Calls Now. Like, that's how you know what's converting and what's not, and where to put the additional money. So any good pay-per-click person will understand the goals and conversions piece of this. So that's something that you want to make absolutely sure that you're not just dumping money into this. You don't have any kind of conversion metrics. You don't know if the people that are coming to you via pay-per-click are actually picking up the phone and calling. Okay, so again, talk to an expert, have a campaign built, make sure that goals and conversions are built into the campaign, and you are really going to be in a good spot to start pushing money in places that it really works and pulling money back away from places that it doesn't work, whether that's seasonally or geographically from clinic to clinic or whatever. Once you get all these pieces together, this is where you really get strong. You can see with this slide right here, the first one's got the website. Well, we put videos on our website. Obviously, there's a blog on the website, and all of our social media calls to action and icons are on the website as well. So that starts to pull, the web a little bit tighter. And as far as our newsletters go out, that's the email pyramid. We put the blog posts from your website in the email. We put videos about what that blog post is talking about also in that newsletter, and any kind of Facebook events that you might have coming up. So now we've got engagement from social media, from the blog, from the videos, from the website, all going out in the newsletter. And we can deploy the video down there on the bottom. We can deploy the video in the blogs, on the social media platforms, via newsletters, you name it. So you can see how having a comprehensive approach here really allows us to start bringing all these pieces together in a very concise campaign. And once you do that, these are the results that you can expect. This right here shows that there's videos ranking up top. There's social media platforms ranking up top. Some of these are pay-per-click, search engine results, and some of these are just organic web results. Like this, the more hooks you have in the water with a comprehensive approach, the more fish you're going to catch, period. You obviously want to make sure that your content's right and your website's right, but just the more hooks you can put in the water, the better off you guys are going to do. If you guys have any questions about how you're doing right now, if you want to take a look, just go to our website. We do a free audit anytime, for anybody. So just fill that audit out. Be very detailed. Give us all your Facebook, exactly what you're spending in pay-per-click, exactly how many people you're getting from the internet, and we'll make a recommendation for you free of charge. You get the report. We'll tell you what to do on each one of these different aspects we talked about today. If you want to use us, we'd love that. But if not, if you want to go with another service, these audits are always a great place to start. A lot of other services get a lot of benefit out of our audits for these clients. And I'm trying to hurry up here. I don't want to keep you guys all afternoon again. My name is Brandon Addison. You guys can reach me at Brandon@Search2Social anytime if you have any questions. If you guys, again, want the audit, take a look at the audit on our website. If you want to check your local listing status, go to the audit page and just click on that button at the top. And again, we're going to be doing a webinar every single Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time from now on. So put this in your calendar. I guarantee you'll learn a lot from it. You should be able to learn enough every single month to justify getting another patient in there that month from the internet. So it should be a $3,000 to $5,000 free webinar for you every single week. So hope to see you guys next week. Thank you for your time, and you guys have a great day.